I want to discuss the issue of child protection in Kenya. Last week, there was a foreigner who was, charged with raping children at an orphanage that he was running. Now, this is an issue that rarely gets a lot of media mention. So I thought that, I should discuss it today because it's something that is very common that many of you pretend not to be aware of, or maybe you're not aware of, but I suspect that as a public you're aware of it. Now, the larger issue is the attitude that most of you have towards the mzungu, because that's the issue, isn't it? And there have been very many mzungus that have been coming over into Kenya to rape babies. You may or you may not know this, but Kenya is a hub for the production of child pornography, if you didn't know that. And it has become a huge industry. And what you need to understand is that nothing happens in a country without the active collaboration and participation of the government of that country. It is not possible for people to be coming over into Kenya and raping children without the government being aware of it. If you don't believe me, you can talk to the child protection officers around Kenya, especially around the coast, and they will tell you the escalation, the absolute ridiculous escalation of child rape in Kenya. And they do these reports, and the reports go up the chain of command, and there's never any response. I don't think, and that kind of gives you an idea of the scale of evil that is, ruling over us. This is a system that Jubilee has created, a system whereby any foreigner, any mzungu can get on a plane, come into Kenya, rape children, and get away scot-free. And there have been so many of them. Like, I don't know if you remember, there's a guy called Gregory Doe. Maybe you don't remember him. He raped very many children. There's also another mzungu called Jonathan Caldwell. He was raping small boys. And when I say children, I want you people to understand, when I mean children as young as 3 years old. I want you to think about that. 2-year-old babies getting raped. Okay? There's also another one called Pamiox Robert. There was also another one called Matthew Durham, and there was also the other one who was the owner of Java. Remember Java, the restaurant chain? All these people were raping babies, our babies, and Jubilee always pretends not to see. And in fact, in one of those reports, it was really bad, because it was a government official that told the Mzungu that, guess what? The police are about to come and arrest you. Run. So our children are getting raped by foreigners. This is the danger when you're ruled by coconuts, because as you very well know, the compromised elite in Kenya never ever defends Africans. Never. They do not defend our women. They do not defend our children. The entire system is set up to serve the foreigner, so that the foreigner can come into Kenya and do anything to you. So you may say that you really don't mind being ruled by coconuts, but this is the consequence of being ruled by people, who hate themselves, people who are against themselves. Just think, a government official alerting a child rapist. Instead of helping arrest him, he's alerting him to run away. And babies are getting raped. It's really sad. And what is even more scandalous is the fact that the media, which is also controlled by coconuts, as you very well know, does everything to hide this fact and to brush it away. Why? Because the media itself, the media houses, are owned by foreigners. As you very well know, most of the media houses in Kenya are owned by foreigners. And the ones that can be called local are so compromised, you know. So many of the media houses are owned by foreigners, and the ones that are owned by locals are owned by the coconuts, the people who do everything to pretend that they're not African, you know. And of late, and I don't want to get into this right now, as you very well know, the media has been pushing pedophilia. Now that they're trying to make that into something that is acceptable. I don't want to discuss the media today. I simply wanted to talk about the failure of Jubilee to protect our babies, which is why, again, you see them, you know, encouraging what is called slum tourism, whereby they encourage, you know, foreigners to go to slums like Kibera. And I know you may think it's all cute, but what you don't understand is that the idea is to sell children. So any pedophile knows, in the pedophile networks, they know. You go to Kenya, you go to Mombasa, or you do the slum tour thing so that you can make contacts with those children. You see the children running towards the tourists, you know, because the children are innocent, and the children, you know, they remember what you told them, because you tell your children that the Mzungu is God, and you show them cartoon pictures of Mzungu, and you explain to your children, you see this Mzungu. So you see the children are innocent. And so when the children see the tourist, they run to the tourist. And they are not necessarily afraid of the tourist. Why? Because you tell your children that the Mzungu is God. In fact, when your child asks you, who is God? You take a cartoon picture of a Mzungu, and you show them and tell them, this Mzungu is God. And then you take other cartoon pictures, and you say, see, the Mzungu is also the angel, you see? And you also take even more cartoon pictures, and you tell your children, you see, the Mzungu is also the saints of God. So this deification of the Mzungu and the worship of the Mzungu is the reason why the child is not afraid of the Mzungu. So the children run and they get raped. But you do not want to talk about that. That you refuse to warn your own children to avoid the Mzungu, because chances are that 9 out of 10, that is a pedophile. And the only reason they came to Kenya was to hunt for babies. So we have an epidemic of babies getting raped. Like in all these orphanages, where all these children were getting raped, there were Kenyan workers working there, and they knew what was going on, and they refused to talk. Why? Why would they refuse to talk? Why would they not report that? Even in the cases of Mombasa, there was one child protection officer who was saying that they found it difficult to understand why majority of the parents of those babies who had been raped would refuse to cooperate. Why? Why would you refuse to cooperate? Because cooperation means you have to acknowledge that the Mzungu that raped your child is evil. And you cannot acknowledge that. Why? Because then how do you justify worshipping them as God? So the gods that you worship, are they good or evil? You see, this is this is the main contradiction in the brains of most Africans. That the same gods you worship are the same people that hate you more than anything. The same people who despise you more than anything. And you don't know what to do, because you've accepted them as gods. So you have this contradiction. And so instead of resolving the contradiction in the most sensible and logical way, you choose to pretend that you haven't been injured. You choose to pretend that you haven't been hurt. Yeah, you choose to look away instead of confronting the idea that the Mzungu is actually not God. And so the epidemic of child rape by foreigners will not end until the issue of the deification of the Mzungu is resolved. As long as you see them as gods, then you will not protect yourself, and you will also not protect your children. And it is a shame that Jubilee has allowed this situation to continue for as long as it has. So it is a big tragedy when child protection officers report that they are seeing babies as young as 4 years old getting raped and infected with HIV. It is really sad that Jubilee refuses to protect our children, which is why we're inviting you to join the Chama cha Viwanda, because we will stand for our children, we will defend them, we will fight for them, and we will not look away as the tourist and the quote-unquote missionary comes into Kenya and is given unrestricted access to our children. And even more disturbing than even the rapes is what you people don't know, the fact that so many of our children are sold for profit. And they are sold for organs, they are sold for, satanic sacrifices, and all these things are known, but Jubilee looks, the other way, and they keep you people, distracted by all these campaigns about this. They keep you distracted so that you can never really know what's going on in the country because of all the other issues that they keep you busy with, issues that have nothing to do with anything. So we appeal to you to join us. Let us stop this horrific situation. Let us protect our children. Let us pass new laws outlawing foreigners coming into any contact with our children for any reason. Foreigners should not be allowed to open orphanages. They should not be allowed to become missionaries. They should not be allowed to become doctors. They should not be allowed any contact with any child at any time for any reasons. They should not even approach our children or even touch them or even take pictures of them. We need such strong laws in order to save all these babies whose lives are getting destroyed. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and comment below. Kenya's time has come. Our time has come. Your time has come. A time to succeed and not fail. A time to grow wealth and not poverty. A time to go up and not down. It's time for you to stop walking and drive your car. Stop renting and buy yourself a house. It's your time to get blessed. Join the CCV movement and together let us kick poverty and unemployment out of Kenya. Become a member today. Donate what you can. And remember that the CCV is the only political organization in Kenya that is squarely built upon Christian values, unlike the rest. We'll see you next time. Thank you.